It's Cass, and I'm excited to be back with you today. Today's episode, we are looking at a few different things, and in a new format update. Not only will this be dropping in on the podcast as you're used to, there will also be a video format coming out on the Wellness Biz Academy YouTube channel. So, whether you like to watch or whether you like to listen, now this information will be in both places so you can consume that content however suits you best. I know for me, I actually listen to so many YouTubes when I'm in the car. I actually struggle finding time to watch a YouTube, but I listen to plenty. So I hope that is helpful to you too. Today, we are talking about something that is wrapped up in practice success. And I'm going to share with you the 6 pillars of practice success. And to be frank, you could use them with any business. It doesn't just have to be a practice. But there are 6 pillars of success that you need to put into place to ensure that your business is able to reach the success that you want it to have. Before we dive into that content, though, I have a question for you. My question for you is this: how long are you willing to wait before you reach success? And on the back of that question, I have another one for you. And that question is, what is success to you? The reason I raise those two things with you is it's something that's been coming up a lot in my mentoring sessions the last couple of months in relation to practitioners. I get so many practitioners that come in on discovery calls, for example, and say to me, I just want to be successful. And I say, great, fantastic. What does that mean? And when we ask for specifics, many practitioners can't give them to me. They are sitting, waiting, hoping, working for success and hoping it comes, but they don't know what it is. Let me tell you a secret. If you don't know what success is for you and you haven't crafted a plan that you are actively working towards, success will probably always be elusive. If you haven't been able to quantify that, how do you know when you've reached it? So the other thing that's been coming up a lot is, how long are we willing to wait for success? Success is a byproduct of doing something. It doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by chance. I always say that, success is just a side effect of doing something that you love. And I do believe that to be true. If you want your business to be successful, you have to start taking the right steps to make that happen. Those right steps might be different day in, day out. One day that might be seeing clients. The next day that might be scheduling some marketing. The day after that, it might be putting processes in place and having a meeting with your accountant. There are a number of different pieces. Think of it like cogs in a wheel that need to turn and work together to be able to create the successful business that you want to have. So think about those couple of questions as we move through today. How long are you willing to wait for success? And do you actually know what success means to you? Can you quantify it? Now, I know that you're here because you are very committed to what you do. No one comes into this industry on a whim. It isn't one of those areas where people think, oh, be great to have a go at that. Let me just check it out. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of study. It takes an awful lot of commitment, and it takes a lot of money too, because our qualifications are not cheap, are they? We can all point to a HEX debt that proves that point. You are here because you want to help people. That's why you came into this industry. You want to help people. You want to make a difference. There's a type of client for most of you that is in your mind who you want to help. Very often that person is a version of who you used to be, which actually makes your marketing and your niche messaging so much more easy because you know exactly the person that you're talking to. What you want to create, though, is a practice that attracts the right clients. You want to transform their lives. You want them to get, an amazing result. And your practice also has to do a third thing: provide the income that you deserve. You are a very skilled practitioner and you deserve to be paid well for what you do. It does not matter that you are helping, you are still providing a very valuable service and you deserve to earn well for that. So I'm really excited to share this with you today. These are my 6 steps towards creating a powerful, profitable, thriving, successful practice. Use the word that means the most to you. I spent years and years creating the frameworks, the tools, the steps, the strategies that I now know work that will give your clients the best experience when they come to your practice and will also help to grow the practice that you love. I have run a successful practice for myself for over a decade. I have also had a number of other businesses in other realms and other industries that have been very successful. I've helped many, many practitioners as well as other small and medium business owners to create thriving businesses. I know what it takes to build a business that works and a business that lasts. These tips today are based on all of that knowledge. My goal today is to leave you with the tips that are going to help amazing practitioners just like you to become thriving in-demand practice owners. I want you to be able to help the people that you will put on this earth to help. Growing a practice isn't hard. I know it can feel like it's hard, but it actually isn't. What makes it hard is the lack of clarity around what you should do, the conflicting advice, the overwhelm you feel with all the different balls in the air. Every time you look at your social media channels or look on the internet, someone else is telling you that they've got the key to make your practice thrive. For some, they might be talking about how to use certain channels. It might be about certain offers, and it's forever changing. And we feel like we are chasing our tails constantly. This is what puts us into overwhelm. What you need to do instead is create a plan, create a strategy. A strategy is just a plan that works for your business to get it where it needs to be. So for some of you, those gurus you're looking at that are talking about growing an Instagram page or an Instagram following, or some of them might be talking about email funnels, client generation funnels. Not every piece of that is going to have to go into your business. The key is working out what you want your business to be and building in the pieces that it needs. Let me show you how easy it can be. We're going to walk through these steps one by one. The 6 steps to practice success. Number 1, have a plan and set goals. Okay, I just said that. You need to know where you're going. It's the roadmap. You wouldn't set off on a trip without a map. So why on earth are we starting businesses without a plan? We need a plan and we need to set some goals. If you started your business without a plan, it's not too late. We can do that for you right now today. Next step is you need to be crystal clear on your niche and your ideal client. Most of the time when I'm looking at practitioners' businesses, the reason they're not achieving the way that they would like to is that they're not clear on either of those two things. If you're not clear who you help, your audience isn't going to be clear either. The third step is mapping out your client journey. This is something that practitioners don't tend to do. We tend to open our doors, offer an initial and a follow-up, and just hope for the best. But we need to map out that client journey, and I'll explain how to do that. Step 4 is having a marketing and social media plan. So this is a plan that you follow, that you can execute reliably, that's going to generate a client flow for your business. Now, interesting point I just want to make here. Have you noticed how marketing and social media plan is step 4? There are other things you need to do before you get to marketing. So do these in order. They are in order of priority and in order of steps. Step 5 is attract the right clients. It takes work to bring clients into your business. You don't want to be wasting time on clients that aren't the right fit. So we're going to talk about how to attract the right clients. And step 6 is create a plan to grow long term. Very often, even if practitioners have started with some sort of plan when they've begun the business, that plan can often be very short term, and they get so busy in the day to day that they forget to think about long term. So we're talking about that today as well, how to create that plan for growth long term. And for me, I always plan the exit strategy as well. How long will I run this business? How will I wrap it up? All right, let's move into step 1, set your goals. To achieve your goals, my friend, you need to know what they are. If they are just a hope and a wish, they will never come to fruition. So I want you to think about your business and the goals that you have, the goals that you would like to meet, and I want you to write them down. Financial goals, absolutely. How much do you want to earn? What does that look like across a year, across a month, even across a week? Let's think about clients. What sort of client numbers do you want to have? How many new clients? How many existing clients? What about your offers? What sort of offers do you want to have? Have you always wanted to have a group hybrid program, a signature offer? Do you want to have a membership? Or are you one of these practitioners who just loves one to one and your idea of success is full book, every day, 5 days a week? So think about all of those areas and what could that be? I also want you to consider work and life goals. A plan made now is one that will come to fruition. Don't do what I did. I was so focused on getting this business thriving that I disregarded my boundaries. I wanted to have a day off every week so I could, do house things, go shopping, have a rest, whatever I needed to do. I had so many clients coming in that I ended up just opening that day and I ended up working 6 days a week. So don't do what I did. Set your plan and stick to it. Most practitioners that I'm talking to are telling me they're happy to work 2-3 days a week and the rest of the week they want to do other things. And that's great. Put that in place now and stick to it. So what are your work goals and what are your lifestyle goals as well? Lifestyle and life. Do you need to buy a house? Are you looking to get a mortgage? Do you want to travel overseas every year? Do you want to buy a new car? What are those life goals? Because these goals have to play into your business. Your business is going to fund them. So you need to build all of this in. This is how you create your strategy and set some goals. When you have an idea of those, good idea to put a timeline on them, a time frame. When are these things going to happen? What is the revenue for year 1, year 2, year 3, etc.? How long will you run the business? Next up, step 2 was niche and client clarity. And I know you've heard this before, so many places, so many spaces. There's so many different ways to go about this. I've always said that niche is not a person that you help, it's a problem that you solve. Okay, so let's repeat that. Niche is not the person that you help, it's the problem that you solve. Now, that can also be the way you solve that problem. So you don't have to niche into gut, hormones, autoimmune. You can actually niche into the way you do it. Perhaps you have a different framework, perhaps you have a different take. That can be how you do it. So getting really clear about this is going to help you create marketing that attracts the right people. If you are putting marketing out there that is getting crickets and you're getting absolutely no traction from it, I will bet my bottom dollar that the message isn't right. It's not landing with anybody. No one is sitting on social media scrolling, just hoping to find a naturopath, a nutritionist, a homeopath, a kinesiologist. We're actually on social media just chilling out. So your well-crafted messages that you've spent so much time on are just sailing past and no one's reading it. All right, so let's think about this. Your niche. What is your niche? Remember, it's not the person you help, it's the problem you solve. So what do you solve for that person, or how do you go about solving it? I've seen practitioners that have created their own protocols around gut healing, around autoimmune diseases, all sorts of different things. That could be your point of difference and that could become your niche. So it doesn't have to be a health condition. And who is your ideal client? Interesting side note, something happened recently, a few months ago, with somebody. When I asked them this question, they said to me, someone who arrives for their appointments on time and pays their bills. And you know what? Perfect answer, because that is someone we want, but that is not our ideal client from a marketing perspective. Who are the people with the problem above or who need the solution that you offer, who you are best able to help get some results? We're not here to help everybody, and we shouldn't be. That makes it so hard to stand out from a marketing point of view, particularly if you're an online practitioner. If you have a bricks and mortar practice, you actually have a bit more leeway here because you can't stop people coming in. You will end up by default with probably a little bit more of a general practice unless you actually niche it in the name. So think about your ideal client. Who are you best able to help get results? Make some notes about that. Next, we want to talk about the client journey. And I know every time I bring this up, most practitioners have never ever heard of this. Your client journey is about detailing that process or that journey from someone finding you to becoming a client. What does that look like? So first you need to note down, how are they finding you? This is about the marketing that you're using, the channels that you're using, or other ways. Are they being referred? Are you advertising in magazines? Are you going to health expos? Are you doing podcasts as a guest so people can find you that way? How are all the different ways that people can find you and come into your world? Now, once they know of you, how do they enter your world? Now, what I mean by this is your email list. I don't care about how many followers you have on Instagram. I certainly don't care about how many followers you have on Facebook. For me, that is just a vanity metric because none of that matters. It doesn't relate to the revenue that you make. I had someone come to me last year in January who was not actually in our industry, but this person had 100,000 followers on Instagram and was not making a cent. Her business wasn't making any money. So your follower numbers don't relate to revenue. Yes, it's nice to see it growing. And if you can see those numbers growing, you know that your content is resonating, and that's great. But what we want, the golden ticket here, is we want their email address. We want them on your email list. If you haven't started an email list, please get to it. It's a really important part of running your business. So please start one, do that today. But how are they going to join your email list? Do you have freebies on your website? Is there a guide I can download? Am I going to sign up to watch a free webinar? Am I coming to a live masterclass? What are all the different ways you could mop up somebody's email address here and get them on your list? The next step is, how are they going to become a client? So in this client journey, how have they become aware of you? How have they gotten on your email list? Okay, actually entered your world by choice. And then how are they going to become a client? This is where you need to note down the ways that they can sign up to work with you. How can they book an appointment? They might book an appointment. They could come into a program. They could come into a package. Maybe you've offered a deal or a special or a discount that they might come in on. You might have offered a limited time program. So what are all the different ways that this person could become a client within your client journey? The next stage of client journey is understanding how you're going to support them. Once this person is a client, that's not said and done. I see a lot of issues in our industry with client retention, and it's because we tend to have a set and forget mindset. That person comes in for an initial, we do a great job with them, and then we tend to forget they exist until the next time they walk in the door. That's why most practitioners I talk to have a retention rate of 2 to 3 appointments, and then that person disappears. In my practice, every client was there for 6 to 12 months, and they were worth at least $5,000 to the clinic, often more depending on the area that we were dealing with. So you need to understand that in your business. How are you going to support them so they keep coming back? How are you going to give them ways to reach out to you? How are you going to help them get great outcomes? What is the process to make sure they feel secure, held, safe, supported in between the consults? Because I guarantee you, if you're not getting good retention, you're losing them in that time between consultations. And then the end of your client journey is end on a positive note. How are you going to end on a positive note? If they have finished their work with you and they're happy, they're well, they're recovered, whatever the word might be for you, what do they do then? How do you leave on a positive note? How do you get reviews from them? How do you get reviews that you're allowed to have? Okay, something like Google is a public platform. We can't stop people putting information on there. So things like that can be great. Are they going to give you a testimonial? Are they going to give you a referral? Do you have a referral program perhaps? What are the ways that you can use the positive outcome to support them and to also support your business to generate new clients? In my practice, the last 2 years of running the physical clinic, I pretty much closed my book to new clients that weren't referred because I was getting such a huge amount of client referrals. And that's another mistake I'd like to point out too, just something for you to remember for future. That was probably the biggest mistake I made, closing my books. And I did have to shut, for health reasons and things. So it worked out fine for me, but you should never close your books. If you are at a point where you're at capacity and you can't take any more clients, you need to duplicate yourself. It's time to get another practitioner on to keep funneling those clients through. It seems to be a thing that I've seen over the years. When people shut their books, we tend to start going backwards in our business. And I don't want that for you. So little learning there. The next step of our practice success toolkit, if you will, is our marketing plan. It has to be a simple plan. It has to be one that puts you in front of the right people, one that you can achieve and execute regularly and reliably. What I mean by that is, I don't want you to put on this plan things that you can't achieve. If you're not marketing now and you're struggling to find time, if you write on your marketing plan to start a YouTube channel and post 3 videos a week, it's never ever going to happen. You need to start where you are and grow from there. And start with what I call my fast 3 of marketing. We want people to be on your website. That's where they have to be to buy or to book. Okay. All roads should lead to Rome, and Rome is your website. For that reason, I recommend bring back the blog or your articles or whatever you want to call them, a weekly blog. What that does is give your website a great news section of brand new content for search engines to index, because when someone is looking for you, they're not actually Googling naturopath nutritionist. Do you know currently in Australia, the words naturopath and nutritionist have less than 100 hits a month Australia wide? That's the entire country, less than 100 hits. Yet I know so many of you are wasting the word naturopath and nutritionist in your keywords when you only have 3 to 5 to use. What people are actually Googling is their symptoms, their issues, their conditions. They're sitting up in the middle of the night Googling, how can I get rid of these frequent migraines? How can I start to sleep? How can I overcome my insomnia? What are the things that are keeping them up at night? They're the things that you need to be writing about and putting blogs on your website. Recently, I shared that I had 12 new clients in a week without doing any marketing. It came out of nowhere. Actually, I was a bit shocked. But what had happened was, one was a referral from an old client. All the others, the other 11, had found me through my website. The content on my website is very, very well crafted to bring the right clients to me. 2 of them did give me a quick call, and we had not really a discovery call, we had a quick chat, but the rest of them booked in, paid online. My initial consults are $265. They paid 100% of that, and they came into my world and we started working together. That's what you want your website to do. So once a week, do a blog. From that blog, go and share it everywhere. Send out an email saying, I wrote a new blog, here it is. Share that blog on every platform you have, all your socials, etc. Share it there. And this is what you want to be doing to start to build up that content and that traction. Now, if you are someone who wants to have a YouTube channel or a podcast, great. The same topic you talked about in your blog, you can record for podcast, or you can record on a video. There's great ways that you can be reusing content. Start with that one if you have nothing else, but I want you to have an email list, and I would love you to have a blog. If you are doing nothing but social media and wondering where are the clients, that's the problem. Clients don't come from social media in this market. Less than what did they say? The recent stat was 0.01% of your followers are going to come off social media to your website. There's no wonder you're not getting clients. So we want a new plan. What channels are you going to use? You are going to use email, you're going to use a blog, and then you can pick whatever else you like. But those 2 things are going to make and break your business. So put those in there. What is the frequency? You're going to blog every week, you're going to email your list every week. Okay. And everything else, up to you. So put together a marketing plan and stick to it. Try and batch your content. Start with batching out a week, but if you can move forward to get a month in advance, you're going to feel so much relief. Makes your life so much easier. Then in our next step, attract amazing clients. Your practice needs a consistent flow of potential clients who will want to work with you. This does not happen by chance. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens from good planning. So how are you going to attract your clients? This is about creating, sometimes they call it a client attraction funnel. You can call it that if you like, but it's about the ways that you are going to build your audience, build your list, and bring them into your world as clients. It's about having those freebies, those downloadables, those things that people will readily swap an email address for to get onto your list. You want some of those on the website. And then the process. So it might be that you are sharing freebies and you're sharing it across all of your platforms and channels, getting signups. Then when they're on your email list, you're emailing them weekly with great content and some great ideas. And over time, you're making offers going, here's a link to book a consult. Here's a link to book a free discovery call. Come to my free webinar. Can you see how it starts to build over time? Now, I would love to be able to detail this for you, but every single business I've ever worked with is different. Every practice is different. You're going to have to work out the best places and spaces for you to attract the right clients. But it's actually easier than you think. What are all the ways that you are going to use to attract amazing clients into your world? Write those down. The sixth step, the final step, is creating a plan for you to grow. Whether you want full books every day of one-to-one clients, or whether you want a practice full of passive income streams while you live in Bali, sounds good to me. Either one of those or anything in between, it needs a plan. You need a growth plan. Map out the services and the offers that you want to have. One-to-one, group offers, recurring revenue, memberships, other services, passive income, low ticket. Are you going to sell meal plans, ebooks, all those things? What are you going to have? That becomes an ecosystem of offers that you then have to draw from to build your income. Next step is, what are you going to offer this year? Are you going to offer your brand new signature program? Are you going to introduce your low ticket? Maybe you're going to put meal plans on your website. What are you going to offer this year to start to boost your income and grow the practice? What about next year? What is happening next year in your business? Now, one thing I will say, if you are looking for programs, packages, online revenue streams, you need to build an email list. These things don't sell themselves. You need to be having a high volume of traffic, organic traffic on your website if these things are going to sell themselves. Most practitioners I work with don't have that level of traffic when they come to me, and that's why these things aren't selling. So think about that, how you're going to build that list. What is your ultimate goal? What are the big goals in your business? It might be that in 5 years you want to be turning over $250,000. That's a really common one. It might be that you want to be working part-time. It might be that you want to have 3 clinics with your name on them. Okay, whatever it is, you can make it happen, but you need to know what the goal is so you can action plan it and step it out. And like I said before, what's your exit strategy? How are you getting out of this? And that, I make that sound like it's a bad thing. It's not. It's not like we're trying to escape. I always say to practitioners, particularly those who have that fear of success, fear of failure, fear of success, there's a lot of people struggling with those. If you are afraid of where your business is going it going to get too big, too scary? Can I handle it? In our practices, we're generally only ever about 12 weeks away from being able to shut the doors, and that's the truth. It takes us about 12 weeks to get a client onto a path of being well enough that we can let them go. So if you are worried about how big and successful this could be and can I cope, you're only 3 months away from being able to walk away. So don't stress about that. And there are so many different ways and means that you can be doing that. So how do you want to leave this business? Are you going to grow it into a thriving, successful practice that you want to sell one day? Are you going to step away from it and put people in to run it so you still have an income and the business is still operating, but you're just taking a back step? What is it going to be? Or are you just going to work in the business until you've had enough and you're ready to retire and you just shut the doors and walk away? What's it going to be? A lot of practitioners are telling me lately that they want to build to certain levels of success, client numbers, money, revenue. But then over time, they want to start changing their offers to move into more passive revenue streams so they can eventually close up the clinic but still have income. So that's a great strategy too. So that is the 6 strategies for you. I'm just going to go back to the top of my notes here. Sorry, I'm still getting over that flu I had the other week. So just wrapping up those 6 steps. Number 1 was having a plan, having goals. Okay, having those clearly defined. Step 2, being clear on your niche and your ideal client. Step 3, map a transformative client journey. Step 4, create a marketing and social media plan. Step 5, attract the right clients. How are we going to do that? And number 6 was create a plan for you to grow long term. I hope this has been really helpful. These 6 strategies or these 6 pillars and foundations are going to be the keys that set your practice up for success over the long term. I've used these strategies myself. My clients use these strategies every day, using them to grow their practice and change lives of people, which is really the point, isn't it? That's why we're here. I am here to help you on that journey. I have so many resources for you, the podcast, the YouTube channel, lots of free resources on my website at cassduffel.com. But I also offer one-to-one tailored bespoke mentoring. It is the best best way for you to move forward in your practice, and I would love to welcome you into that. I have spaces starting at the end of this month, so I'm interviewing right now. It is an interview-only situation, so please reach out to me. I will put links in the show notes as well, or please feel free to email hello@casduffel.com or send me a message through Facebook or Instagram and we can have a chat. I'd love to see you in there. If you are ready to shake off the shackles of what a traditional practice is and create something on your own terms that is thriving, successful, and ticking every box in your life, that's what I can help you do. We can make your abundant practice dreams your reality. So friends, thank you so much for being here. It's been great to chat to you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye for now.